The last one on the stage, the auction hall was cold, dark, and full of noise. People from every corner of the galaxy sat in the crowd. Rich traders, criminals, alien collectors. They had come to buy rare things, strange things, living things. On the stage, the auctioneer stood tall, wearing a long black coat and a silver mask. His voice echoed through the hall. "Lot 29 sold to the merchant from Aros Prime," he shouted. Another cage rolled away. Inside, a small creature, with glowing blue eyes, hissed and scratched at the bars. The crowd clapped and laughed. It was just business to them. At the back of the room stood a human man. He wore an old brown jacket, boots covered in dust, and a calm look on his face. His name was Jax. He said nothing. He watched. The auction was almost over. "Ladies and gentlemen," the auctioneer said with a bow, "we thank you for your time and your credits." The auction. But then, something strange happened. The lights above the stage flickered once, twice, and then turned red. A new cage rolled forward, pushed by 4 guards. This cage was different, stronger, thicker, covered in glowing chains, and inside it was her. A girl, but not human. Her skin was a deep red color, almost glowing in the low light. Black marks like tattoos ran down her arms and neck. Her eyes were gold, like fire. She looked at no one. She sat still. But her power was clear. The air felt heavier when she entered. The crowd went silent. Even the rich buyers who had just thrown away millions of credits looked nervous now. The auctioneer cleared his throat. His voice was low this time. "Lot 30, final item, classified as highly dangerous. Name, unknown. Species, unknown. Age, unknown. Untamable." Someone in the front row whispered, "Is this a joke?" Another laughed nervously. "She's not trained. She's wild." The auctioneer nodded. "She destroyed 3 ships before capture, killed 12 guards, but here she is, for sale." No one moved. No one bid. Not a single hand went up, until one hand did. From the back. Slow. Calm. "Sure, Jax." He didn't say a word, just raised his hand. All heads turned to him. Some laughed, some gasped. "A human?" someone said. "Is he crazy? Does he even know what she is?" said another. The auctioneer stared at him through the silver mask. "You, sir, do you understand what you are buying?" Jax simply nodded. The auctioneer tilted his head. "Very well. Going once. Going twice." The girl looked up. For the first time she moved. Slowly. Her eyes locked with Jax's. There was something strange in that moment. Not anger. Not fear. Something else. Curiosity. "Sold," the auctioneer said quietly. "To the human." The cage was lowered from the stage. Guards looked nervous as they handed Jax the control device for her chains. It buzzed softly in his hand. "Good luck," one of them muttered. "You'll need it." Jax said nothing. He walked forward and stood near the cage. The girl didn't move. She just watched him. "Let's go," he said. She didn't answer. He turned and walked away. After a pause, she followed. The crowd stepped back, watching them like a storm was passing by. Outside the auction hall, stars lit the sky. Jax's ship sat waiting, an old freighter, scratched and dented from past battles. The loading door opened with a hiss. Jax walked in. The girl walked behind him. No words, just silence. Inside, the ship was small but clean. 1 bed, 1 chair, some tools, a map of old space routes on the wall. He turned to her. She stood near the door, still in chains. "I'm not here to hurt you," Jax said quietly. "You're not a pet, not a thing. You're free now." The girl said nothing. He sighed. "You don't have to trust me. Not yet. But I didn't come here by accident. I was looking for you." That made her blink. A pause. Then she stepped forward, very slowly. Jax didn't move. He watched her closely. She leaned in just a little, and for the first time, she spoke. Her voice was sharp, quiet, and strange. Why? Jax looked into her golden eyes. Because I know what it's like to be caged, he said. The girl who wouldn't bow. The moment the ship door sealed shut, silence fell. Not peace, just silence. Jax turned his back for 1 second. That was a mistake. She moved like lightning. Chains still on her wrists, the alien girl lunged forward with a sound like a growl, her eyes burning gold. She wasn't just attacking, she was testing him. Jax dodged fast, rolling sideways, hitting the wall hard. She followed, swinging her chained fists like weapons. The first blow missed, the second grazed his shoulder. The third would have broken his neck if he hadn't ducked. He didn't pull a weapon, he didn't fight back, he just blocked, dodged, and moved. "Stop!" he shouted. "I didn't buy you to own you." That made her pause, just for a second. And in that second, Jax pressed. A button on the wall. A blast of force field energy surrounded her like a dome. Not a cage, just a barrier. She stood inside it, breathing hard, glowing tattoos pulsing on her arms. She didn't look tired. She looked disappointed, like she was hoping he'd be tougher. "Are you done?" Jax asked, wiping blood from his lip. The girl tilted her head. "You fight soft." Jax grinned through the pain. "I don't need to prove anything to you." She looked at the field around her. "This can't hold me." "I know," Jax said. "It's not supposed to." Now that confused her. He walked over to the control panel and turned the field off. She stood still, not sure what to do. "You're free to leave," he said. Still, she didn't move. Freedom? Just like that? No one ever gave her that. Not even once. Not when they trained her. Not when they sold her. Not when they locked her in that cage. Now this human offers it like a gift? She didn't trust him. But curiosity was louder than fear. "What's your name?" Jax asked. She didn't answer. He nodded. "Okay, I'll call you Trouble for now." She frowned. "I have a name." "Then tell me." She stared at him. "Vera." Jax smiled. "Vera? All right." He walked over to the ship's cockpit and sat down. With a few taps on the console, the ship lifted off, rising into the dark sky. Vera looked around. The room was small but warm. Not a prison. Not a lab. Just human. She sat slowly, her eyes always on him. Later that night, the ship floated through quiet space. Jack stood in the hallway holding a hot drink, staring at the stars. He didn't hear her come up behind him. "You don't fear me," she said. He turned, calm. "I don't fear storms either, I just don't try to stop them." She stepped closer. "Why did you take me?" Jax's jaw clenched. "Because they were going to break you, or kill you." "You don't know me," she said. "No," he said. "But I've seen enough cages to know what happens inside them." Something shifted in her eyes. That strange silence came again. Not peace, but maybe something near it. Hours later, while Jax slept, Vara wandered the ship alone. She moved like a shadow, silent, light on her feet. She checked every door, every system, every hallway, looking for weapons, for traps, for lies. In the engine room, she paused. Her reflection looked back at her in the metal wall. Red skin, glowing lines, golden eyes. She hated that face. She touched one of the tattoos on her arm. It shimmered. Suddenly, a screen next to her lit up. Incoming signal detected. Her eyes narrowed. She tapped the screen. The signal was old, encrypted, but not dead. A message was playing. On repeat. Subject Nabimwara 1 escaped. Project Godchild is compromised. Eliminate all remaining assets. Priority, black. Vara stared at the words. She wasn't the only one. There were more, and they were killing them. She stepped back slowly, heart racing for the first time in years. Jax's voice came from behind her. "You weren't supposed to see that." She turned. He was there, calm, awake. You knew, she said. I knew they'd come for you, he said. I didn't know they'd started the purge. What purge? She asked. He looked her straight in the eyes. They're erasing every trace of what you are. Hunter becomes the hunted cold space. Red lights, sirens screaming. Jax slammed his hand against the control panel. Shields down to 20%, they're still on us. The ship shook again. Another blast rocked the hull. Outside the window, a massive black ship followed them through the stars like a shadow. Bigger, faster, better armed. Vera stood beside him, her eyes fixed on the screen. This isn't bounty hunters, she said. Jax nodded. No, this is something worse. She looked at him. Who are you, Jax? He didn't answer. Instead, he jerked the ship into a sharp dive. Alarms blared, sparks burst from the ceiling. They were losing altitude fast, and ahead of them was a planet. Dark, dusty, dead. We're going in, Jax said. You'll crash. I'll land hard, he corrected. Crash. The ship hit the ground with a metal scream, sliding through sand and ash. Fire shot from the engines as they tore through an old mining site. Finally, the ship stopped. Smoke rose. The sky above them cracked with thunder. Jax coughed, pulling himself up. Varro was already on her feet, barely scratched. Welcome to nowhere, he muttered. They stepped out of the ship into silence. The planet was dry, empty, like a graveyard. Old mining machines sat rusting in the dust. No people, no cities, just broken memories. This place is off the grid, Jax said. Perfect for hiding. Or dying, Vera said. They worked fast, patching the hull, checking weapons, sealing doors. But Jax was slow. His shoulder was bleeding from the crash. He winced with every step. Vera noticed. You're hurt. I've had worse. She frowned. You should rest. He gave her a look. And let you fly us into a sun? Her lips twitched, almost a smile. Almost. That night, the planet was quiet, but the stars above were not. From the roof of the ship, Vera watched them. Her tattoos glowed faintly in the dark. Inside, Jax tried to sleep, but the pain wouldn't let him, and neither would the past. Flashback. A burning building, screams, children running, soldiers in black armor firing. Jax was there, younger, angrier, holding a gun. He was trying to save them, he failed. He woke with a gasp, sweat on his face, blood on his bandage. Vera stood in the doorway. Your dream, she said. I felt it. Jax sat up, weak. Stay out of my head. I didn't mean to, she said. Sometimes emotions leak. They looked at each other, tired, worn, not enemies anymore, not friends yet. Something in between. She stepped forward and placed her hand near his shoulder. Let me help. He hesitated, then nodded. Her palm glowed, heat, light, pain, and then none. The bleeding stopped. He looked at her in shock. You heal. She shook her head. Not really, I just borrow the damage. She pulled back. Her hand trembled. Her eyes dimmed. Why would you do that for me? Jax asked. She looked away. Because I saw what you saw, she said. You tried to save them. Just then, a red light blinked on the ship console. Signal detected. Someone's here, Jax said, pulling himself up. Vera moved to the window. In the distance, lights moved across the hills. They tracked us. No, Jax said. They tracked you. They rushed to the defense systems. Jax powered up a turret, handed Vera a rifle. She stared at it. I don't need this. I know, he said. But it'll feel good. She grinned. A little. Outside, black ships landed in the dust. Not bounty hunters, not pirates. These were clean, silent, precise. Government black ops. No names, no badges, no mercy. Orders are clear, one of them said through a helmet. Burn the ship, erase the girl. They didn't know what was waiting. For them, boom, Vara burst from the ship like a comet, tattoos blazing, eyes like suns. She moved faster than bullets, struck harder than steel. They tried to trap her. They failed. One by one, they fell. Weapons melted, armor cracked. Inside, Jack sniped their support units, moving like the soldier he used to be. Together, they weren't running anymore, they were fighting back. When the smoke cleared, only Jax and Vera stood. She was breathing hard. He was bleeding again. "Now do you trust me?" she asked. Jax looked at the wreckage. "No," he said, then smiled. "But we make a good team." Ghosts of the past, it was quiet now. Too quiet. Ash drifted across the dead ground like snow. Smoke curled from burning machines. The stars above blinked cold and far away, like they were watching but didn't care. Jack sat near the ship, his jacket torn, blood drying on his sleeve. His rifle lay across his knees. Vera stood a few feet away, staring at the bodies. She hadn't said a word since the fight. She didn't look proud. She looked hollow. Jax broke the silence. "You didn't have to kill all of them." She didn't look at him. "Yes, I did." Inside the ship, they cleaned up what they could, patched wounds, repaired controls, reloaded. But the damage wasn't just outside. It was inside both of them. Later that night, Jack sat in the pilot seat staring at the dashboard. Vera stood behind him, arms crossed. "What was that?" she asked. "What was what?" "That dream, in your head, when you were bleeding." "I saw it again." Jax didn't turn around. "Stay out of my mind, Vera." "I didn't mean to," she said. "But it's loud, always there." Silence. Then she spoke again. "That burning place, with the kids. What was it?" Jax exhaled slow, like the air hurt. "That was a colony," he said. "A peaceful one, no weapons, just families. I was part of the unit sent to protect them." "From what?" He looked down. "From us." Vera stepped forward, her voice colder now. "You were a soldier." "I was," he said. "I followed orders, until I didn't." She sat across from him now. "Tell me," she said. So he did. Flashback. They called it the Sweep, a secret mission, black ink on paper hidden from the public. Jax and his squad were told the colony was harboring a threat. Alien technology, unstable DNA experiments. But there were no weapons, only children. Alien children. Some looked like humans, others didn't. All were scared. All were innocent. Jax's team was ordered to clear the site. His partner fired first. Jax shot his partner in the back. Then he ran. He tried to save the kids. He saved 2. The others burned. "I carried one girl on my back," Jax said, voice low. "She didn't make it to the ship." Vara didn't speak. Her glowing tattoos had dimmed. "I left the army that day," Jax continued, "went underground, been running ever since." "And now you're running with me," Vera said. Jax looked her in the eyes. "No, I'm running for you." The next day, Vara was gone. Jax panicked at first. He checked the radar, the cameras, then he found her, in the caves near the crash site. She stood in front of something huge, a wall of metal, ancient, half buried in the rock, a vault. Jax stepped closer. "What is this?" "I don't know," Vera whispered, "but it calls to me." He looked at the symbols etched into the surface. Some were like her tattoos. This wasn't human tech, it wasn't even known alien tech, it was something older, deeper. "You've been here before?" he asked. She nodded. "In dreams." Jax pulled out a scanner. It blinked red. "This place is locked tight," he said. "No way in." Then the door opened. By itself. Jax stepped back. "That's not creepy at all." Vera walked inside, followed her into darkness. Inside, the walls glowed faint blue. Tubes lined the walls. Inside them, children, alien children. Asleep or frozen. Some looked like Vera. Some looked like the girl from Jax's dream. "They're alive," Vera whispered. They're like me. Clones? Jax asked. No, she said. Survivors. She walked to the nearest pod, pressed her hand against the glass. The child inside had the same eyes as her. Same markings. Family, she whispered. Suddenly, a console lit up. A recording began to play. A woman's voice, old, soft, tired. Project Godchild, test site number 04. Subject batch stable. Memory suppression active. Host DNA. Vera. Jack stared. Wait, you were the template? Vera looked shaken. They didn't just make me, they made others from me. Then the screen flickered. A warning appeared. Purge protocol incoming. 17 hours until strike. Jax's eyes widened. They're gonna wipe this place. Vera's voice turned steel. Not if I wake them first. The chase through the stars. The first child opened their eyes. Not fully awake, not fully human. They blinked, slow, like the world was something unfamiliar, too loud, too sharp. Vara stood beside the pod, her hand still glowing from the touch. Her tattoos were burning bright, running down her arms like rivers of light. Jack stared at the child, then at the others. How many? He asked. 13, Vera said, not counting me. Can they fight? She didn't answer. Not yet. Back, on the surface. The dust swirled. A low hum grew louder, louder, then deafening. In the sky they arrived. Not a ship, not even a fleet. A squadron of Dread-class warcruisers, black and sharp like knives in the sky, each one capable of burning a moon into dust, and they weren't here to talk. Inside the ship, Jax raced through pre-launch checks. We have minutes, he said. We need more time, Vera snapped. They're waking slow. Vera, this isn't a rescue anymore, it's a damn escape. She looked at the children, their breathing steady, their eyes just starting to flicker with awareness. I won't leave them, she said. Jax didn't argue. Instead, he rerouted life support from his own quarters to the cryopods. Then we do it together. They launched. The ship blasted from the hidden vault just as the first orbital cannon fired. The ground below cracked, shattered. The lab was swallowed in fire, but Jax's ship shot through it like a bullet, flames licking. The hull. Shields down to 40%, Jax shouted. Just keep flying, Vara replied. Behind them, 6 enemy ships gave chase. Sleek, fast, quiet, not a word, just death. In the cargo hold, the children stirred. One of them, a girl with pale blue skin, opened her eyes and whispered, Mother? Vara turned to her. I'm not your mother, she said, but I'll protect you like one. Back in the cockpit, something beeped. Incoming transmission. Encrypted. Jax played it. Vara of Project Godchild. This is Commander Veth. Surrender. You will not survive escape velocity. She leaned over the console. No, but I'll make sure you don't either. She cut the line. The chase begins. Jax weaved the ship through an asteroid belt, using debris to shield their movements. Vera manned the turrets. Unfamiliar tech, but her reflexes were unreal. 3 ships followed them in. Only one came out. Still, the lead warcruiser followed. Too big to lose, Jax muttered. Then, the ship's AI spoke. Hyperspace drive damaged, jump unavailable. Well, that's perfect, Jax snapped. Vera stared at the controls. Let me try something. She walked to the center of the ship and placed her palm on the core. Her tattoos flared again. The ship responded, lights blinking faster, engines humming louder. You're interfacing with it? Jax said. No, she said. I'm becoming it. Suddenly the ship jumped, not through hyperspace, through something else. The stars bent. Reality twisted. Even sound vanished. When they came out the other side, silence. No ships, no pursuers. Just a quiet part of space, untouched and forgotten. Jack slumped in the seat. What the hell was that? Vera looked different, tired, pale, but powerful. I don't know, she said, but I think it was mine. In the back, the children were fully awake now. Some stared at the stars, some stared at Vera. One of them, A boy with silver eyes walked up to her. "You're the first," he said. She nodded. "I was." Jax watched them from the doorway. "We just made the entire galaxy our enemy," he said. Vera looked over her shoulder. "No," she said. "We made them afraid." The truth beneath the ice-black screen. A voice, female, soft but clinical. Project Godchild, Phase 0, Subject 1. Cognitive imprinting initiated. Then, light. White, bright, endless. A newborn scream, a machine hum, and a hand, not a mother's. Glove. Vara sat up, gasping. Her skin was damp. Her tattoos were pulsing wildly. She wasn't on the ship anymore. She was in a hallway, cold, metallic, familiar, but impossible. The ship hadn't landed yet. So how was she here? Jax's voice came through the comm. "We're landing now. Ice shelf is unstable. Whatever this place is, it's not on any maps." She didn't respond. She was already inside it. The lab wasn't found. It remembered her. The snow cracked as the ship landed on the surface of a hidden frozen moon. No atmosphere, no life signs, just ice and a pulse. A faint biometric beacon pinging every 33 seconds, only detectable to a very specific strand of DNA, Vera's. As Jax exited the ship, his boots hit ice that shimmered underfoot like glass. The mountain above them was carved not by nature, but by heat. Something had blasted its way out long ago. Vara stood at the entrance to a jagged tunnel. "This was never a lab," she said. "It was a cradle." Inside, silence. Cold. But the walls were covered in carvings. Language, but not words. Instructions, memories, formulas, and in the center, a chamber, one massive pod, frosted over, still glowing faintly. Inside, a woman, red skin, glowing tattoos, older, wiser. "Is that?" Jax asked. "My mother," Vara whispered. She stepped forward, hand trembling, and the pod opened, not with a hiss, but a sigh. The woman did not wake, but a spark passed from the pod into Vara's chest, a surge of light that made her fall to her knees. Her brain exploded with visions, whole galaxies, weapons, children screaming in labs, humans in white coats, her mother crying silently in space. And then, something else, a second location, another cradle, one that had already been destroyed. Back in reality, Vara collapsed. Jax caught her just before she hit the floor. "Talk to me," he said. She opened her eyes. "They didn't create me," she whispered. "They copied me." Jax blinked. "What do you mean?" "There was another me," Vara said. "An original, ancient, far before humans walked. I'm just..." A reset. The chamber suddenly glowed red. A voice echoed from the walls. "Unauthorized access detected. Final defense protocol. Engaged." Doors slammed shut. Ice shattered. A machine woke. Not a robot. A guardian. Tall as a starship, made of old-world tech with eyes like dying suns. "Run," Vara said. Jax didn't need to be told twice. What followed was chaos, explosions, echoes. The guardian chased them through the halls, breaking ice like glass. Vara didn't fight. Not yet, because she was still remembering. Not who she was, who she had been. Before she was human, they reached the surface. The ship powered up. The guardian burst from the ice, arms glowing, ready to destroy. Vara turned. And finally, she let go. Her body lit up like a small sun. The snow around her melted instantly. Her eyes glowed white-hot. The symbols on her skin spun like a galaxy. One word left her mouth. Old alien. Powerful. And the guardian stopped. Froze. Then, knelt. Jax stared in shock. You command it?" "No," Vara said. "I am what it was built to protect." A new name for fire. The transmission played across 100 worlds. "This is Commander Veth. Site 04 has been lost. Subject: Godchild has activated Class Zeta Tech. We are witnessing an extinction class anomaly. Then, static. And then, silence. The galaxy watched and held its breath. Far away, on a broken moon orbiting nothing, a new sun rose. But it wasn't a sun. It was her. Vera stood in the ruins of the Guardian Vault, her eyes empty of color, her tattoos flowing like living code. Behind her, the Guardian knelt, armor cracked but waiting. Before her, the sky cracked open, a wormhole tearing space wide. The enemy had arrived. Not scouts, not assassins, a fleet, a full military armada, dreadnoughts, fighters, carriers, all black, all cold. Jack stood behind her, rifle in hand. You don't have to fight them all. Vera didn't look at him. I'm not going to fight them. He blinked. What then? I'm going to end them. But it wasn't anger in her voice. It was clarity. The sky lit up. The first shots came, orbital cannons slicing through clouds. They weren't aiming at her. They were aiming at the children. The godchild survivors now hidden aboard Jax's ship, protected by old shields and last hope code. Jax ran toward the ship, yelling into the comms. Evasive pattern Omega-3. Get those kids out of here. The ship began to rise, but not fast enough. One dreadnought locked on. A missile fired. Too fast. Too close. Too late. Unless you're Vera. She stepped forward, one hand raised, and the missile stopped mid-air. Just froze. Then it reversed. It turned, mid-flight, and slammed into the dreadnought that launched it. The ship vanished in light. Now the fleet was listening. But it was too late. Vera rose into the sky. Not flying. Just rising. Like gravity gave up. Like the stars recognized her. The commanders panicked. She's not a weapon, she's a key, she's unlocking something, she's rewriting the field code itself. They were right, she wasn't a bomb, she was a signal. And that signal? It reached everything. Ancient machines buried in dead planets woke up. Forgotten satellites whispered her name. The void itself bent, just slightly. And all across the stars, a new word appeared in lost languages. She returns. Meanwhile, inside, the lead warship, Commander Veth, stood at the glass window watching the impossible. She's not going to kill us, he whispered. No, said the officer beside him. She's going to erase us. Veth tapped his control panel. Call the retreat. All ships. Now. Too late. Vera had already made her choice. She raised both arms. The stars dimmed. For 9 seconds, all sensors failed. No video, no sound, no data, only black. Then, light. The fleet was gone. Not destroyed, just gone. Not dead, just undone. Back on the ground, Jax watched the sky return to peace. The kids were safe. The moon was whole again, and Vara. She landed slowly, her feet touching ground. Like she never left it, her tattoos faded. Her eyes dimmed. She looked at Jax. I remember everything now, she said softly. Who you were, he asked. She shook her head. No. Who I choose to be. 1 week later, Jax walked through the new colony, a quiet place carved into the moon's side. The kids played in the light of 2 suns. The Guardian now stood watch, motionless but alive. Vera sat with the youngest, teaching them how to speak, how to listen, how to build. Jax sat beside her. You're not a weapon, he said. She smiled. I'm not a god either. Then what are you? She looked out at the stars, and her voice was calm. A second chance.